Hi everyone, Jenny with On Fire Fit. Welcome to day 2 of week 6. And today I am just talking about some of the practical things that I do in regards to pray, which I break down the acronym plan, resolve, anticipate, yearn, and then I make it prayer because eat right, ER, is a part of what I do as well. But that I have reserved for the people that are doing the nutrition portion with me, and you certainly can let me know if you want information on that too. But I thought I would give you some practical things. I tried to keep the videos during this series on the shorter side so that it wouldn't overwhelm you and you wouldn't feel like you didn't have time. But I also wanted to talk to you a little bit specifically about some of the stuff that I do. What I really don't want is to make you feel like my way should be your way. That is where we get into some trouble because we tend to compare, and then we either feel better than that person or we feel worse. And either way is not the way God would want, and it's not empowering. The only reason I want to share this kind of stuff is because I feel like when I hear about other people's lives and how they incorporate concepts, it makes it more real for me. And I think, okay, I could try that. That would be something I could handle. And maybe the thought wouldn't have dawned on me otherwise. So I'm going to just talk about a little bit of that kind of stuff with you so that maybe it will trigger something that you can try in your own life. So for me, my morning ritual is really critical to the success that I believe I have in my day-to-day life as well as my mentality. I'll talk a little bit about that and then probably expand on it later. But I get up in the morning. I usually get up somewhere between 4:30 and 5 on the average day. And I go out and make my coffee, which by the way, I have weaned down to primarily decaf. That's another story we can talk about. And I drink a tall glass of water. And it's usually this thing. I suck that whole entire thing down because overnight, you know, you get a little foggy, dehydrated, and I drink my water. I make my coffee, and then usually I listen to something that is motivating and biblical, a sermon, somebody that talks about success but God's way, that kind of thing. And I'll put the kids' lunches together, which by the way, I prepare the night before, but some things have to be heated or refrigerated. So I put them together. Any last minute dishes that were left in the sink, because I go to bed earlier than everybody else, I put away. Then I go into the living room and I sit down and I pull out my basket. And my basket has my Bible, a journal, a book that my friend Maggie gave me to record prayers, and it gives me kind of a focus for things that I'm praying about, things I'm thankful for, a Bible verse that meant something to me that day, and just basically gives me a little place to journal that information. I will sit, and most of the time I'm still a little foggy, and I'll sit and I'll think, God, I just need you to be here and to open my eyes and get me focused. I try to avoid looking at my phone before I get started because that tends to take me in a wrong direction, and it makes it a lot harder for me to focus. So I spend some time reading in the Bible. Sometimes I read a few verses and then something grabs a hold of me and I have to think about it, pray about it, write it in my journal. What triggers did it have for my own mind? Sometimes I'll read for a few chapters and I'll get some huge takeaway point, but I'm never left without something that inspires me. And then I write my On Fire devotion and send that out to my people. And most of the time, depending on our schedule and how soon, usually we have to leave at 7 in the morning to get the kids out to school. I do try to take a walk between 6 and 7 and I pray. And during my prayer time, I don't take headphones, I don't take music. I do have my phone in case of an emergency. But I get out and I pray And a lot of times, this is when God downloads all kinds of information into my mind. And I feel like I just kind of talk to Him. I talk to Him about things that are concerning to me, things I'm grateful for. Lately I have started to say out loud what I believe God wants for me. And this is something that's foreign to me. At 6 in the morning, there's not a lot of people out, so I can do this kind of under my breath. And so I felt awkward before. It does not feel awkward anymore. It is an incredible thing to go through that process. And I'll talk about my walk a little bit more in the next video. But that time is precious to me. It is the most exhilarating time of my day because I am in the presence of God. We're always in the presence of God, but we're not always aware of it. And so when I carve out that time, I really get a different perspective on my entire day. And a lot of times it shifts dramatically from when I woke up in the morning feeling a little out of it or whatever. So I will talk about my walk next, and then after that, we'll talk about a few other things that I do during the day. All right, I will see you tomorrow. God bless and live on fire.